Hey, this is Stone, and I hope you're having a good day. What I want to talk to you about today is very poignant in terms of moving forward in your goals, moving forward on your calendar, and just moving forward in life, making progress. You can't move forward unless you can maintain clarity and focus. And this is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart because growing up, I suffered with ADD. Now, it never was called that. It wasn't diagnosed. It's diagnosed a lot more today. I probably suffered from ADHD. I don't know which one's worse, but whatever was worse is what I suffered from. It was a real problem for me. I'd be in class and the teacher would be teaching math, which is my least favorite subject, and I would be seeing what the two squirrels were doing by looking out the window of the classroom. So it's something I've always had a problem with, is just being able to pay attention and keep that focus and clarity. And what's interesting, keeping focus and clarity on a simple task, the hindrances to that, the roadblocks or the stumbling blocks, are the same stumbling blocks that you often see when you look at the big picture, when you look at goals, and when you look at your calendar and scheduling and the things you do on a daily basis. It's really being able to maintain your focus, make progress, and move forward. So I'm going to share with you really three core elements of how to stay focused and how to continue to move forward and do that with a little more ease. So my day is very intentional, and really all of these ideas, these concepts, these core elements deal with intentionality. If we're intentional, and if you start getting intentional about your day, it's such a simple, basic thing that many people know intellectually, but the litmus test is if they're really owning it in their heart and doing it. So that's the question. So all of these you will see deal with intentionality. Number one is something that I have used for many, many years. It's tried and tested. Many people use it and it's very powerful. Now, what I call it is you need to work in flow blocks of time. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you've got 10 things you need to do today. And if you look at those different things, you can group them into different categories that all kind of have the same flow, right? They use a part of your brain that moves in the same flow, or it's the same area of progress that you're working in that has the same flow. It doesn't matter how, but it has to make sense for you in terms of flow. My wife and I love to go canoeing and kayaking, and we haven't done it so much in recent years, but not far from where my wife's parents live, there's a beautiful place to go canoeing, and we have our own canoes. And so we would go canoeing there. And one thing that I noticed just one day when we were sitting on the bank in a couple different areas is that when the river is really flowing and is really rapid, if you throw a rock, it makes very little difference, right? It doesn't upset the current very much. However, if it's not flowing very much and you throw a rock, you really see the ripples and the effect kind of go throughout the river, right? It makes a pretty good change in the river. Well, our lives and the way we move forward is very much the same. If you group a bunch of actions or items or tasks together and you move forward within that area and you're making good progress, it's much, much harder for you to become derailed. So the way my day works is I work in specific flow blocks of time where everything is categorized in a way where for a specific area, let's say an hour and a half, I am working in this flow current, okay? Everything's going in one direction, the way my mind works, and it makes it very hard for me to be derailed. So number one, work in flow blocks. Number two is, especially in the world we live in today, is fundamental, and that is decrease unscheduled social networking and web surfing. Now, social networking, I use social networking all the time in my business and ministry. I'm always on Facebook, using different social media outlets. The key is not to be Pavlov's dog, right? The bell rings and he salivates, okay? Get into the habit of checking social media. Depends on the person, but stretch it out. Test yourself to see how far you can go without having to check social media on a business day. Now for me, because I use it a lot, I'm checking it once about every hour, and I limit the amount of time just to check and create actions if I need to from those items to about 5 minutes. So I allot myself about 5 minutes every hour. The real point by this, again, is living intentionally, as all of these core elements are. Living intentionally means every time your phone bleeps or your computer dings, you're not checking Twitter, Facebook, Foursquare, MySpace, LinkedIn, whatever it is. You're not checking those things constantly. So be intentional about interrupted social networking time. Make sure it's being scheduled. And obviously the same thing for web surfing. That's number 2. And then number 3 is really, really preventative. And I've been reading a lot of research on this lately about taking breaks and what I would call calming time, a time for your mind to calm and really just be able to relax from all the work that you've been giving it. You know, you can only run a car hard for so long before it starts causing a lot of damage, right? You have to go down to where the car is at a normal pace before you can accelerate really hard again. And I like to accelerate through my day. Now, one way you can do that, and the latest research says, and this is pretty wild in my opinion, is that every couple of hours you take a 30-minute break, and some research says between 15 and 20 minutes for a nap. Now, I haven't quite made it to the nap thing yet, but I will say this. The research that I am finding really has me sold on the benefits of the nap, and I'm going to be experimenting with that, and I'll let you know how those experiments turn out. But taking these naps, what the research says, or just taking that complete downtime where you do nothing, up to 30 minutes every 2 hours, actually makes that person's day more productive, even taking roughly 2 hours worth of breaks during the day. Seems counterintuitive, but I think the research can at the very least give us application that we need to take a break from whatever it is we're intensely doing at least a few times throughout the day. I think we can all agree on that because we know, even though it's counterintuitive, that makes us more productive. Those are the 3 core elements. I hope they help you to continue to have that focus to move forward. Listen, whether you agree or you disagree, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. What do you do in order to help yourself stay focused? Let me know below. I hope I've been able to serve today, and go get him this week. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.